Hi, Adiemi. This is Mike Barton. How you doing?
I'm all right. Oh,
I'm okay. Just missed your call, and I was calling you back.
okay. Um, yeah. So let's start with the LCMS confirmation test. So what's the outcome of that?
Did you get the text message I sent you? I went down to the testing facility.
Okay.
They told me that creatinine just means that a test is too diluted to um, to get a conclusive evaluation, and that
Okay.
it cannot be reevaluated. And I tried to pay them to give me um, a copy of the initial test so I could see a verification of the, so I could verify what I was being told is true, and they wouldn't give me a copy of that test. So, which is odd because if I'm paying for these tests, then I should be able to get a copy of that from my own records.
Right. So I agree with you. So now so how about the EKG?
I'm sorry.
So two things you are supposed to test for. I told you the ETG, which is alcohol. So did they not test you on? Did they not see that?
They told me that on the initial test, it was showing ETG and creatinine, and I said, okay, well, I'd like a copy of that, and I was there to retest, to take another test because I was under the impression that that was what I was supposed to do. And they said, no, you're not here for another test. You have to pay $15 so we can reevaluate this sample. I gave the girl my $15,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was asking her to explain to me because I was under the impression that it was creatine, like the workout supplement creatine. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Creatine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
So
I know.
so I said I don't understand how either one of those would come up in this test, and I was just asking her to verify for me what this test was saying and if I could get a copy of it. And she actually got kind of upset with me. I was being friendly. I was being polite. Just asking some questions so I could verify for myself. She said, "Do you want to speak to my supervisor?" And I said, "Yeah, I think that'd probably be a good idea." So Ben came out, supervisor, big tall guy, and he very politely and calmly explained to me what creatinine is and that it cannot, when there's a test that shows creatinine, it just means that the test is too diluted to have a conclusive test result, with positive or negative, and just gave me a sheet on how to prepare for the screening without having it come up creatinine, which basically they just tell you don't drink so much water. Which the day before I went hiking up in the mountains, we hiked miles, and I just drank enough water on the way home to, one, rehydrate myself, two, to be able to use the bathroom when I got there, so I don't have to sit there for an hour waiting to pee. And the thing that I found interesting is that they would not give me a copy of that initial report saying that there was ETG in there. So I don't know if I'm being misinformed and that wasn't really in there, or what the deal is, because they would not give me verification. I should be able to get a copy for my records, and I don't know why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So yeah, I do believe that if you are paying for the test, like you said, you are even more. How do I say this? I think you're more entitled to request the testing report than any other person that I can think of. Of course, if I request it, it's probably going to take, days, if not weeks, if not months, for me to get it. So that's why I thought when you are going there anyway. So it seems like you really, maybe you didn't believe me. So that's why I thought it's best for you to actually get it from the source. Okay, so that's a part. So the part of ETG. So did they not say anything about that?
They did. They said it showed up in the test, but if there's creatinine, if it tests for creatinine, means that the test is too diluted to be used as a conclusive positive or negative. So
Well,
they said that even if it comes up in the test, that if
uh-huh.
it's creatinine, then it's an inconclusive test, and they can't reevaluate the sample to because it's too diluted. So they basically said that that test is null and void, and that I just need to come prepared for the next time I'm evaluated.
Well, that is very, very, very strange because
Welcome,
now,
welcome to my life. Everything's
yeah.
very
So so
strange,
so
sir.
this is the thing because you're I mean you're not the first person that I will send there to go and get the confirmation done, and this is for your protection. So it might not look like it because just the way they were explaining to you, uh, when you submit a deleted sample, it's technically is a violation of probation.
Because I drank too much water? I mean, that's
Well,
ridiculous.
I don't know. So now, but two things we are talking about here. So the creatine was this, they put positive. Now with the explanation, I've gotten a lot of explanation on creatinine or whatever it is. So same thing that they said is pretty much manage your fluid intake. I get that. So that is accurate. Okay, that's consistent with the information that they have provided to other clients. But when it comes to, so that was creatine, that was
Creatinine.
they are testing for amphetamine, they are testing for cocaine, they are testing for a lot of things. So on the third day, they tested you, I believe, for amphetamine, and that is the amphetamine that they put creatine under. Amphetamine is what came out positive. So I'm not going to go after you for that reason. So I know that they can't really make a conclusive determination. So the creatine is okay. So, but under the ETG, the creatine there under ETG we also have creatine under it. So that was not so that for that one, the creatine, they even say anything on that. So, but the alcohol was positive. So,
Yeah, but
and I know this can
you're
generate
saying
a
that,
lot
and
of
they're saying that, but nobody
this.
will provide me with a copy of the report. So I don't know if I'm just being lied to or
Okay,
what the
well,
deal is.
that's what I believe. If I know you, that's why you are. I mean, you are asking all the questions you are asking. So, and I mean, it makes sense to believe that it's even if I provided one to you, chances are you still won't believe me. So that's why I said go to the source. So as it is right now, it's on record that you have tested. I'm not going to worry about the creatine thing. They already told you if in the future you are still positive to creatine, that might be an issue. So, but for that past test, that's okay. So, but for the alcohol, it's on record that you tested positive for alcohol consumption.
But okay, but that's not acceptable because if there is if a test is too diluted, which is when a test is positive for creatinine, that definition means that the test is too diluted to be used for a positive or negative report.
Listen, so again, they're testing for two different things. So the cutoff point for creatinine for alcohol is different from the cutoff point for the alcohol. So the alcohol and the amphetamine,
So
the,
now, so
the
now I have
cutoff
to.
points they are different. So they may not be able to determine whether somebody has used amphetamine based on the concentration of the sample provided, but they are able to conclusively say that this person is positive for alcohol. So this is what I suspect in this case, and because I don't want any going back and forth, I know how you will think, oh, well, maybe he's out to get me. That's the least of my. Why would I want to do that? But so that's why I sent you back there to go and get
And I tried. I went back there just like you said. When I could have actually just called them over the phone, paid with my card the $15 to have the sample reevaluated. I tried to give them another sample, and that Ben explained to me in detail that the sample that I gave cannot be
was the
used.
one that would reevaluate it. Yeah, I think I told you that much in my text messages to you. So
Yeah, it was
I
kind of
didn't
vague.
say that you're not going to the pre-mod doing like further screening of the sample that you have previously supplied or provided.
Mm-hmm.
But what just to make sure I understand what you have said. So you went in as directed. Say,
Correct.
hey, I need to get FCMS
Yes, I showed them your text
confirmation
message.
test.
I showed.
Okay, for ETG and for creatinine, and they told you that they cannot do it.
Correct.
So you're on record. You okay with being on record for that?
Correct. Yes, I tried. I did exactly what you what you directed me to do.
Okay.
I went downtown, went to Aver Health, and I gave them a $20 bill. I was ready to pay for them to have it reevaluated. And when she asked me if I wanted to speak with the supervisor, when I was just asking her to explain to me what creatinine is and how the process works, she got upset with me and said, "Do you want to speak with my supervisor?" And I just said, "Yes, please." He came out and explained to me exactly what I just told you, that a test positive for creatinine is just a fancy way to say that the test is too diluted and they cannot use it as a positive test. And they also cannot reevaluate the test because it's too diluted. And then they gave me my money back.
Okay, so pretty much now, let me restate what you had just said. So pretty much, you only said something about the creatinine, right?
No, and the ETG. And I said I'd like to see the report that shows me that ETG is on this report. And then she looked at me funny, like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that," Which, why wouldn't they be able to print? It's my test. I paid for it. Why would they
Right.
not be able to print out a copy to show me on that test that it had tested positive for that? But it's kind of a moot point when a test is too diluted to be used in court or for any reason at that matter for a positive screening. And that's exactly what that guy Ben told me. He said it's basically a null and void test. It can't be evaluated. So it's like they put in their computer that I tested for ETG, yet they wouldn't prove that to me or provide me with a copy of that report. And they told me to go to you to ask for the report. And I said, I've already asked for that report.
So your record is also that they said to come to me for the copy of your report.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So I'll get with them. So, but again, even if I had provided you, and I want you to be truthful with me. So if I provided the report that I have, would that have sufficed to convince you that I'm not deceiving you?
Okay. Well, I'm saying they're telling me one thing. They're telling you the same thing, but they won't provide any proof of that.
Okay, so you still have issue with them because they didn't provide. Because if I provided the test report today, chances are you will still have some doubts in your mind. So that was why, in the first place, I said, well, just go to the source.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
did.
right. So, all right. So that said, I will get with them. The good thing is you did not have to pay. They refunded your money, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So what we're going to do, as soon as I'm done speaking with you, I'm going to call Ava Health. Okay. And then there must be some misconception. So you may have to go back, and I won't make you go now. Next time you are supposed to, normally you will go. You may still be required to do the LCMS screen for the ETG. I'm okay with the creatinine. Like I was explaining to you, a sample may be diluted that they cannot draw a conclusive. How do I say this? That they cannot make a conclusive determination on whether positive or negative for amphetamine, but that does not mean the same sample.
You keep saying
That does not. Hold on.
amphetamine, but there was nothing
That
in the
does not.
report
That
about
does not.
amphetamine.
Excuse me.
You keep saying amphetamines, but there was nothing in the report about amphetamines.
There has to be something else there. You want it, so it wasn't just okay. Now let's clear it out so you understand where I am coming from. It wasn't just alcohol that you got tested for. So
oh yes, they test for everything.
So they tested other stuff. So what I'm saying is, other stuff that they tested for on that particular date, okay, may be the sample may be deleted that they couldn't make a determination of all other stuff, but they, with the same sample, they are able to draw a valid conclusion on alcohol. So that's the point. So in any case, I'll get back with Alpha Health, and they will clear it out. If they told me exactly what they have told you, then we are fine.
Yeah.
If not, so if they tell me otherwise, next time you normally go to UA, then you may have to do the FCMS again. Because as it is today, if you're going to go before probation violation court, I will have to allege that you are possessed or consume substances containing alcohol on about that day. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to really allege something that didn't happen. So without having a conclusive evidence. So that's where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you should understand that. So I don't have time to actually, even I have time, the last thing I want to do is I'm just going to wrongfully allege something that didn't happen. So I don't want that's not part of my job. I don't do that. So all right, so that's taken care of. So I'll call Alpha Health, and if they tell me the same thing they told you, I will document it. If they clear it out that we didn't understand him, whatever
No, I was very clear, and I had them explain it to me several times over and over. So if you do get a different story, then there's something that's not right.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you know now. I've not called them, but similar situation actually happened yesterday of another client that they were telling similar story to what they just told you. So the guy at the front desk told my guy, this is Christinine, we can't do anything about it. So how about the person tested for cocaine and also tested positive for creatinine, just similar to creatinine positive, alcohol positive. I'm like, okay, so he ended up putting the supervisor online. And the guy eventually said, so I apologized. I said, I'm wrong. So the supervisor said we could actually screen. And when we see in person, I will actually show to you. This is not me making this up.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he tells you the same thing he told me last time, because I have that conversation recorded. So I said I'd hate for that guy to incriminate himself by telling you something different than he told me when I've got it recorded.
Oh, well, so you recorded him when he told you what he told you, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's good. So that's good. Okay. So, so we'll just go from there. So, but for right now, my encouragement to you, I cannot tell you, don't drink water. I can't tell you that. So, but obviously they told you their guideline. Okay, so
yep.
So you know what to do next time you want to go. And as a matter of fact, for you to know that the last thing on my mind is to say, I just want to go after someone. This is actually the second time that you came out positive for creatinine. But because I kind of knew that, and that was the only positive at that time, I just kind of overlooked it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you have to drink enough water to be able to go in there and go pee. And we live in Arizona,
Right, right.
You
And
have to
again,
drink a lot of water.
I'm not telling you not to drink. So, but whatever the treatment provider told you, I'm sure they probably know better when it comes to water conclusion, hydration, and stuff. So just follow whatever guideline they give to you. Okay.
I do, yeah. Like they gave me the piece of paper. Now, I want a copy of that initial report that says that. So you're saying that I have to request that from the court? Do I have to go in and file a motion to request the
So
original copy of
what
that
do you mean?
test?
What do you mean? What does the court has to do with this? I say
Well,
from the court. I say from the treatment provider. If the treatment provider didn't give it, so I may end up showing it to you. So, but
hold
what I
on. I'm asking if that's normal that they usually won't provide the patient, who's paying for the report, a copy of that report. Is that something that's normal, or is that? I mean,
Well, I
who do you?
honestly don't know. I mean, as you will know, I work for the court. I mean, they're an independent agency. But my thought would be that if I pay for a service, I should be entitled to that. That's what I thought. I'm not sure.
That would be my assumption also because it would only make sense.
Yeah.
So it's almost like somebody is keep
What you might want to do, is so when did you ask the supervisor that you spoke with?
correct. I asked him. Yeah, I said
Okay.
why
So
can't I get it?
you might want to ask for somebody that is above him to justify why you can, because I think it's a matter of rights. In my opinion, I'm not sure, but if I pay for a service, I think um,
I agree with you.
yeah, so that's what I would think. So, but this has nothing to do with the court. So, what if you have any issue? It is with Ava Health. Say, well, I pay for the services, and I think I have the right to know the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty much. So, but this has nothing to do with the court. It has nothing to do with the court, absolutely.
Okay.
So, but when everything clears out, I may show you on the screen how it came to my screen on the APD screen that this happened because we get the test report. So that's pretty much to say on so days, alcohol was positive, creatinine was positive, amphetamine was negative, cocaine was negative, marijuana was negative, all those stuff. So that's how it comes, and they put it under it that for every positive test result, LCMS is required to clear the donor of the sample. Because the reason why we're doing this again is there are a lot of people might be on prescription, for instance, and they can come out positive to something, so that we know what it is before taking court action.
Mm-hmm.
That is the whole essence of this thing.
Okay.
That's the essence of it. So, but I will speak to a supervisor there. But it was after I spoke to a supervisor yesterday that they agreed to conduct the LCMS test.
So
on one of my guys just this yesterday.
They're contradicting themselves.
Yep. So that is number one. So the number two thing, I need to go over an assessment with you. It's a series of questions that you answer when you are going through court. So it was actually positive. So I have to take care of it today. So as we speak, tell me, how is your health? You're made physically. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in good shape.
Okay. All right. So how is your business coming now?
Well, after this shutdown, it's pretty rough. Pretty rough.
But you still hanging in there. You still got the business going.
Oh yeah, yep. Just spent the last few hours packing up items to ship out all over the United States and a few to other countries. Yeah, so I'm selling items, but it's just tough trying to catch back up after sales went down 50% during the shutdown. So.
Okay.
Yeah, still at it. Went out last weekend. The swap meet was finally open again. I went out and I bought some items for my store. Spent a couple days photographing and listing those items to get them back in my store, which is the first time I could do anything in a couple months since everything was shut down. So I'm back trying to keep my business going and yeah, just trying to play catch up.
Okay.
Might have to get some kind of personal loan or something like that. I've submitted several applications for employment at entry level positions and haven't got any response back from anyone.
Okay. So I'm assuming you are still, I mean, as a result of the pandemic, you're still dealing with financial difficulties of some sort, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
So, so are you still having financial difficulties of some sort?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I just paid last month's rent a few days ago, and I'm trying to come up with rent again. And it turns out that Doug Ducey was very vague when he said that renters and homeowners are protected. Uh, they came out and said all renters and homeowners are protected, and it turns out that only federal home loans and people that are on Section 8 are protected. Everyone else is basically not protected. So the rental agency called me the same day that you contacted me about this whole testing situation and told me, hey, we need you to come in and pay your rent, or we need you to, or we're going to submit eviction paperwork. And I thought, told them, wait, what happened to the renter protection? And then that's when they informed me, oh, well, you should call your governor and complain to him that they weren't very transparent with the information that they gave out to everybody in the state, because they had been evicting people since the beginning of this shutdown that were not on Section 8 or did not have a federal loan for their home.
Okay.
So a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of, hey, we're doing this to help you out, and then you find out in the long run, oh wait, no, it's only for certain people.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the status of your current family relations?
Family's doing good.
Okay.
Doing some homeschooling since,
Okay, so growing up, during your childhood, did you witness domestic violence, or were you a victim of domestic violence? Hello?
I'm here. I'm just trying to process that question. It's a little bit more complicated than just answering yes or no on that, because I would have to explain to you what long-term trauma-based mind control is, SRA, satanic ritual abuse, gaslighting, different things like that. So the answer to that question for me is a lot more complicated than, so as far as
Okay, let me try to simplify.
people fighting in the house.
Yes,
No.
yes. Actually,
No.
that's the focus.
Nope. My parents got divorced when I heard stories about my dad hitting my mom when I was young, but I never have memories of that, or I was just told that happened.
Okay.
And my mom raised me.
All right. So, what best describe your current most significant companionship? Are you in a relationship pretty much?
What describes my most current companionship?
Yeah, most significant companionship. Meaning that, are you in a relationship?
So I have to answer these questions, see, because this is some personal information that I really don't feel like is anybody's business or has to do with anything.
Yeah, you made it our business when you got involved with the court. So yes, you have to answer the question.
Okay. Well, I'm just a single dad. I have a friend that I spend time with. Girlfriend. Yep.
Okay, all right. So you are in a relationship. So how would you describe your relationship with this lady? Does she beat you sometimes?
Does she feed me?
Yes.
Yeah.
She beats you?
She feeds me. She makes me. Yeah, she's the best.
I didn't say did she feed you. Pretty much what I'm saying is, does it get involved in domestic violence with you? Pretty much. That was my question.
I thought you said, does she feed me? No.
I wanted to crack you up by saying, does he beat you sometime?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, and you don't beat her, right?
No, not at all. This is actually the. Hey, you know what? You if you want to know about our relationship, you can go to my YouTube channel. We just did a couple videos
So I
on
will find out there.
YouTube together, and we talk about that exactly what you're asking.
Okay. All right.
We have in-depth conversations. We do some investigation into corrupt systems and share our points of view on what's going on in society right now. And we disagree on a couple things, but we do it civilly and talk about it to the public.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about your friends.
About my French?
Yes, your friends.
My friends.
Yes.
Well, let's see. The only friends that I have really live out of state. I really don't have too many friends around here that I spend time with,
Okay.
other than my friend that's visiting right now. And but yeah, my friends are people like John D'Souza. He's a 25-year FBI special agent veteran, investigator. He's somebody that I consider a friend, that I keep in communication with. That's helped me navigate through some of this this interesting conundrum that I found myself in life. One of my other friends who has taken a lot of time to help me and work with me on different things is Karen Stewart. I've written these names on my the intake form, the goldenrod sheet that you guys have.
Yeah.
So Karen Melton, she worked for the NSA for 28 years. She was an analyst that was responsible for saving thousands of American lives through her analysis.
Pretty much. So these are good people. No criminal history or anything.
Heroes. I mean, former FBI agents. The guy I'm telling you about, John D'Souza, they wrote a TV show about him called The X-Files. Not sure if you ever heard about it. So, but no, these are good people that have retired from United States intelligence agencies.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the residence section of this assessment. So, how long have you lived at your current residence?
A little over 5 years now.
Okay.
Moved here in March 5 years ago.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, I know you don't have a lengthy record. So
not at all. This is the first thing that I've ever dealt with like this.
There's a misdemeanor way back then. So even at that, so that's still not a long record. So now, have you had any DUIs in your life?
When I was 19, so 25 years ago.
Okay. Okay. All right. Think through this question. So, these past 6 months, what was your alcohol use like? How would you describe alcohol usage?
Zero.
Okay, so pretty much you say that
which is why I'm questioning this test,
okay.
And I want to see proof of that positive test.
Okay. Okay, so we'll get to the bottom of it. Like I said, if somebody take certain medication, it might show in their urinalysis for a number of things. So that is the whole essence of having the confirmation test done. So that's the whole essence of it. So yeah, but I'll get back with you. I'll reach out to if I have.
Okay. The only thing I can think of, Adiemi, is the restaurants opened up the day we went to Sedona. Um, we ate on the patio of a restaurant. I had an Arnold Palmer, iced tea and lemonade. And then the next day, we woke up and had breakfast at a restaurant called the Coffee Pot in Sedona. Had breakfast, had coffee, drank water from that place, and then we headed home later that afternoon after we did some hiking.
Okay.
So,
All right. So, what's your perception of yourself when it comes to alcohol? Do you see alcohol as a problem for you?
not at all.
Okay. All right. So, moving on to the drug section.
I actually quit drinking before I was told to quit drinking, and I would have before that, before I got into this probation situation. I quit probably a month and a half before I even went on probation. And before that, I would only have maybe a couple beers a night, every other night, so I never had an issue like, drinking all day or anything like that. I was just a very, I wouldn't say social drinker, but a very light drinker.
Okay. So, any illegal drug use in the past 6 months?
Zero. I don't do any. The only thing that I put in my body that I shouldn't is nicotine. And
So, do you think, I have to ask, do you think you have drug issues?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next section. Have you had any mental health diagnosis ever?
No.
Okay. So, how would you describe your current mental health state?
Stronger than it's ever been in my life. I'm more sure about myself. I am more secure with my thought processes. I am a stronger person than I've ever been in my life.
Okay. So tell me one time that you think it will be okay to break any law.
Never. Well, unless the law is unconstitutional, but I'm still not going to do that. I, if a law is unconstitutional, say I'm in the military and my commanding officer tells me to do something that is illegal or unconstitutional to enforce a uh, regulation upon other citizens, and it's unconstitutional, then I would deny that order. But I'm not in that position right now. And
Okay.
that's actually one of the things that I talk about is unconstitutional laws that are being enforced on our public. So, but as far as me personally, I'm not in that situation, so I don't have to make that decision.
Okay. So which means the the matter that led to this probation grant, I mean, in retrospect, would you do things differently?
Would I do things differently?
Yes.
I didn't do anything, and I've explained that to you over and over. I have on video the man pulling a gun on me. I still have it on video. It's on my website. I gave that report. They set me up. He pulled a gun on me on Avondale Boulevard. I made a U-turn and came back to my house. The guy followed me to my house, turned the little rotator lights on the top of his truck on like he was pulling me over like he was a police officer, got out of his car with his gun and started coming towards me, and then I took off through the neighborhood. And as soon as I got to the other side of the neighborhood, there was a bunch of Avondale police officers there waiting to arrest me.
So you didn't pull your own personal weapon.
Correct.
Hmm.
Have it on video. And then I also found out later that Russell Roberts, the guy that was complicit in this setup and who's an organized stalker and harasser, as a former police officer. And
All
and
right.
this happened
Uh,
3 weeks after I uploaded a video of an Avondale police officer admitting that she knows what targeted individuals are, and was laughing that one of them had just died the day before, and then told me she couldn't tell me anything about it because it was under investigation. I uploaded that video to YouTube, and what do you know? 3 weeks later, I'm arrested.
okay. All right. So, what do you think of the conviction that you're on probation for? Fair or unfair?
It's absolutely unfair. I was denied exculpatory evidence in my case. I was conned into signing a plea deal when I signed the initial plea deal when I thought I had no other choice, and then I learned what a motion discovery was, and that my attorney had never given me the motion discovery. I learned what a motion to compel is. I learned what exculpatory evidence was, and I learned that none of that was advised to me when I was going through the court system. And if I would have been represented properly, I would have been able to go over the motion discovery in time, and I would have been able to file a motion to compel for the exculpatory evidence, which are body cameras, which the Avondale Police Department told me that they did not carry body cameras at that time, yet they gave me a copy of video footage of them searching my mailboxes with a personal body camera. So that's contradictory information as well. And I filed a motion to withdraw the plea deal and go to court and go through a trial process. And the judge denied me that right, because I wanted to present that exculpatory evidence. I wanted to file the motion to compel for the exculpatory evidence, and the judge denied my right to do that.
Okay. So, would you consider the present offense violence? Was there any form of violence involved?
Yeah, the guy committed a hate crime. He was stalking me and harassing me, which is a violation of 18 Code U.S. Code 18, Section 241 and 242, color of rights under deprivation of law. 18 Code U.S. Code 18, Section 2660, which is stalking and harassment. And he committed a hate crime because as he was stalking me, he rolled down his window, called me a faggot. Actually, his exact words were, "You're a faggot ass." And then he pulled a gun out of his window and then followed me home.
Okay. All right.
Which is the furthest from the truth. That's neither here nor there, but he was stalking and antagonizing me to try to get a reaction out of me, and then following me to my house after he pulled a gun on me where my kids were sleeping.
Okay. So yeah. So that is pretty much it. So, but I'd like to remind you the mental health screening that the court has ordered.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to do something about it.
Okay. I've asked you
this, and let me land. So doing these small things goes a long way. Your probation is 2 years, I believe. So, but you could. I think I told you this before. Probation. I don't have any interest in your case than any other cases. So, as a matter of fact, when you do all you need to do, your journey on probation will be short. You don't have to be on probation for 2 years. So, but if you keep, just for whatever reason, keep pushing back, you're going to end up being on probation for 2 years and beyond.
Okay, but we're revisiting something that we've already covered, and you and I have talked about this extensively.
How did we cover it?
I told you that I interviewed several psychological evaluators. They told me that they need a retainer fee of $2,500, and it would be $5,000 up to $8,000 to be psychologically evaluated because of my situation. It would be an extensive evaluation, and it would take them many hours to do
okay,
that.
hold on. So what's your
And then hold
situation?
on, can I finish, please? And then I asked you, I said I can't. I told you I can't afford this. If the court is demanding that I take a psychological evaluation, who's going to pay for it? And then you gave me a number to some clinic, and I called them, and I tried to go in to be psychologically evaluated, and the lady on the phone was confused, and she said, I called and I said I need to make an appointment to come in and do a psychological evaluation. So she said this is an emergency psychiatric clinic, and you tell us what your symptoms are, and then
Thinking this,
okay,
in
wait.
my opinion, so I may be wrong. So, but it's bottom line, it's your responsibility, not mine. So, and I'm being really friendly about all of these things
Well,
because
friendly, yeah, the friendly is neither here nor there. It still doesn't change the fact that you told me that. Okay, so basically, what you're telling me is that regardless of how much it costs, and I cannot afford the psychological evaluation, that I'm still responsible for the psychological evaluation, and if I don't follow through on that, then I'm violating probation.
yes, technically, so I could have taken you back before the court. So, but again, making life complicated for someone else is the last thing that I want to see happen. So obviously you thought maybe this is maybe I made all this up when you filed that motion and the judge pretty much told you again. So imagine if I file petition to revoke your probation based off on that.
Okay, well, I also filed a motion to go back and speak with the judge because I was lied
No,
to about that. I told the judge that I would not. I told the judge that I would not sign the plea deal if I was demanded to take a psychological evaluation. And he said you have to sign these papers digitally before the papers print out. And I said I'm not comfortable with that. Then I signed the papers digitally in court, and after I signed those papers, then it tells me that I have to be psychologically evaluated. So I was lied to in court, was forced to sign the papers before I could read them, and then I filed a motion to go back to the court to speak with the judge about the contradictory information that I was given, and I was denied that right in court.
Yep. So that has nothing to do with me. So my job is to supervise your case based off of the documents that you got from court. So this is the last time that I'm going to have this conversation. It is not done. I will actually have to put out. I mean, as you know, this is going to happen. You risk getting arrested and sitting in jail before you can even see the judge. So I'm just letting you know.
Okay, so by what date do I have to have this psychological evaluation done before somebody comes and arrests me for not being able to afford to take a psychological evaluation?
I'll give you until the last day of this month.
Until the last day of this month?
Yes. Do you think that is reasonable?
No, absolutely. It's absolutely not acceptable because we just went through a major pandemic. My business was affected by over 50%. I'm trying just to pay my rent and to pay the eBay fees, which are the fees that I need to keep my store running, and I'm doing everything I can just to pay my bills, to keep a roof over my head. And then I'm given a stipulation that all of a sudden, after this pandemic is supposedly over, that I have to come up with another $2,500 just for a retainer fee to get this psychological evaluation done, which is going to cost me $5,000 to $6,000. I interviewed 10 different psychologists, and they won't give me the report. They won't pass the report to you unless it's completely paid. So it's absolutely impossible that I would be able to come up with $10,000 in 30 days.
Yeah.
So I'm basically being railroaded.
There's a disconnect here. Each time you talk about this, you just talk of these psychologists. There are treatment agencies that I mean, I can't wrap my mind around somebody asking you to pay $2,500. So I have people on my caseload that have taken, that have had their mental health assessment. You keep calling it psychological evaluation,
Mental health assessment. Okay.
mental health assessment. So it
It's the same
shouldn't
thing. It's
be.
6 of one,
I mean,
half a dozen of the other. It's the same thing.
each time you tell me that, but if you keep going to the psychologist, guess what? They're going to make their money.
It's the same thing, Adiemi. It's the same thing.
There are people who are not necessarily psychologists who could administer the test. So there are people with master's degree in counseling that
Okay.
they can do this. So, but it's up to you where you want to go, and it's not for being insensitive of what is going on that I said June 30th. It's because you keep pushing back. We've been on this for how long now?
I tried. I'm not pushing back. I tried to go take a psychological evaluation, and you sent me to an emergency psychiatric
But you
ward.
You didn't tell them your again. I did that to trying to help you, so you won't have to worry about this huge amount. So if you were to have told them whatever you think you're passing through, chances are by now that will have been taken care of.
Okay, I've done my research, and I have interviewed. I've called all kinds of different psychologists, and whether you want to call it a psychological evaluation or a mental health screening, it's the same thing.
Okay.
In my situation, all of them, they ask me a series of questions, just like you asked me a series of questions. They ask me this series of questions, and as they're asking me these questions, they make an evaluation on the type of mental health screening that would take for me, and mine is a complex situation.
Okay.
Because I'm experiencing something that is completely different from what a lot of other people experience. So in order to properly do this, they would need to spend quite a bit of time to properly evaluate me. So in order to do this properly, then it's going to cost me a lot of money. So, okay, so what you're telling me is I have to have this done by the 30th, and there are no referrals that you can give me to. You say that the other probates that you have in your caseload have gone to people with master's degrees and so on and so forth, but you guys don't have maybe like a list of referrals that you could text message me or email me so I could go to one of those people and get a basic mental health assessment.
Okay, well, I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do. So, but it is important that you follow through with this. You might think you're doing this. This is costing you. You might not know it. Now you can't forget about you can't take your case out of state of Arizona. You can't.
No, I understand I'm being held hostage.
Yes. This is done. You can't. So also.
I'm not trying to ask you that anymore. I already realized that I wasn't going to be.
And also you could qualify for early termination and stuff, but because of all these things, that's not going to happen. And by the time you hit the 2 years mark, even though the probation says 2 years, it could be extended for failing to fulfill the court order. It's not mine.
I'm doing everything within my power to comply with all of the requirements in probation, but I'm in a conundrum to where I can't afford to pay for the services that I'm being required to fulfill the terms of this probation. After I was told that I wasn't going to have to do this in court and have been denied the right to go back and recover that information in the court. So basically what we have is a kangaroo court and the use of what we call lawfare, warfare with the law. And it's all right. It's okay. Everything's being documented, not just by me. And I'm just going to be patient, and I'm going to do everything in my power to follow through with everything that you guys are telling me to do. And it'll all work out in the end. So you're doing your job. I'm doing my due diligence, and there are people that are paying attention to what's going on, and
Yep.
everything.
If if we can just be on the same page, you shouldn't see me as I'm not a foe. I'm not your enemy. So if we can be on the same team, your journey on probation is going to be easier. It's going to be faster.
I'm trying. I'm
You
trying.
need to understand that.
I completely understand it.
If you set your art very well, I don't even know how you see me. Maybe it's just somebody who is just doing his job. It's just I don't know how your perception of me really.
Okay.
No, I'm asking you. So, what's your perception of me? How do you perceive me as a probation officer?
I don't really feel like giving you my opinion about that.
Yeah. Okay.
You're just doing your job. I've heard that before.
Okay. So so too, if I can add to it, and I do my job as much friendly as it can possibly be. If you are with another PO, maybe by now you would have been before the court. Hold on. Actually, your 959. Code 4. May I ask for additional 20 minutes, please? Go ahead. Mike.
Yes.
Okay. So, one thing that I never want any of my people that I supervise to really think is that, maybe it's just being a PO. Because I'm human, and I see everybody that comes my path as much human as I am. So I try my best to make sure that I don't push you around. I don't make unnecessary request of you.
Well, it seems like there might be a little bit of leeway after considering that we just went through a worldwide pandemic and that there are riots going on everywhere and that society is basically shut down, businesses are affected, and I just can't afford to do this mental health assessment by the 30th. I'll do whatever I can. I'd like you to give me some more time, but like you said, you're just doing your job. You can make that decision, and then I'll just have to do my best to comply with whatever I'm being told to do.
And the reason I assumed that position, I'll probably see I'm human again. So if we're just talking about this for the first time, maybe for the second time, yes, it will be really, inconsiderate of me to now say, but I'm just telling you that in order for you not to go before the court, so this is the last resort now that we're talking about. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And lastly, your discharge paperwork from military, I don't know why it's really difficult. You could call these people and get this thing. Again, I'm not just asking this, it's on your...
I provided that paperwork. I provided my discharge paperwork.
You did what?
I provided my discharge paperwork to Officer Queen, and I have the confirmation email for that.
Oh, okay. Can you forward that to me, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And so just again, if I could get you off of probation now, I would. So, but you've got to work with me.
You understand that I'm trying to, but I'm stuck in a conundrum financially. And I've done everything I can to comply with the requirements that I've been given, but I'm in a financial situation that has gone downhill over years. And right now, it's actually at the worst point because of this shutdown. I lost $7,000 to $10,000 of income during the shutdown, and that's really almost destroyed my business.
Okay, so I understand that. So I will see what I can do. If I can find other avenues for you to get this assessment done,
I would appreciate it.
I'll get the information to you. I'll reach out to IFA Health to confirm the issue of the alcohol thing, and I will let you know what the deal is.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm expecting the information that you had shared with Queen.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have your email address.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have my card, right? You have my business card. Then it should be there. So, but
I'm not sure if you ever gave me one or not, but it's probably on some paperwork you gave me. Can I give you my email address, and you can send me an email, and I'll reply to that?
Okay. Well, I don't have your email address either, so I'll just give you mine. Tell me when you are ready.
It'll be a second. Can't I just give you mine? You send me an email and I respond to that. So there's an official request for that email.
Oh, so what difference does it make? Does it make any
Well, because I
difference?
can't find a pen right now, and I could have even already given you my email address by now. It's BARDEN .MICHAEL.
Yeah, I'm driving, so I cannot write.
Okay, well,
So, tell me when you are ready to take my email address, so we can go from there.
Okay, and now what is the reason that you want my discharge papers, or you just want a confirmation that I sent that information to Officer Queen?
Yes. Yeah, I need the confirmation that you had provided it to her.
Okay, what's your email address? I found a pen.
It is my full last name, which I'm sure you know, AKANBI, then
I'm sorry, AKNBI.
AKAN Nancy, N as in Nancy, B as in ball, I as in Indian, A as in apple, Earth, APD, that's A for adult, P for probation, D for department,
Okay.
.maricopa.gov.
Okay, so it's A as in alpha, K as in kangaroo, A as in alpha, N as in Nancy, B as in Bravo, I as in India, A as in alpha, at apd.maricopa.gov.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
All right, so our next appointment is going to be next month. That will be July the 7th. July 7th.
All right.
Okay. So talk to you then.
Okay. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.